name is Sherry, and today I'm going to be making a chocolate hummus for what I'm going to call Wacky Wednesday, because my husband said this is one of the craziest things he thinks he's ever heard. But before I start, if this is your first time here, you love food, you love fun, you love wacky recipes, go ahead, hit the subscribe button, as well as the notification bell so you don't miss anything new. All right, so in addition to Wacky Wednesday, I think this would also be a great recipe for Fab 5 Friday, because you only need 5 ingredients for this. Your garbanzo beans, some tahini, some maple syrup, a little bit of vanilla, and some cocoa powder. And then from the pantry, you also need a little bit of olive oil and some salt. We're also going to use a little bit of water. So I just believe anytime that you can make something yourself versus buy it in the store, it just tastes that much better. And I also believe this to be true for the things that go into the recipe. So instead of using canned beans, I'm actually going to be doing this from dried beans today. Now, if you don't have dried beans on hand, of course, you can use canned beans. And if you don't have canned chickpeas or garbanzo bean, you can also just use a canned like navy bean or white bean. But my favorite way to do this, obviously, is in a pressure cooker, because you don't have to soak the beans overnight. You don't have to do a quick boil or anything. You just put the beans in here, you push a button, in 25 minutes, they are cooked to perfection. So I'm just going to go ahead and add 4 cups of water to the inner pot of my pressure cooker. And then I'm going to add 1 cup of dried beans. So, and I'll tell you the other reason I like to just have these on hand, because your canned beans have probably a shelf life, I would say, of a couple of years. Let's see, 10, 24, 21. Yeah. So about a year. I probably had these a couple of months. I would say probably, 2 years or so, where your dried beans, as long as these don't get any moisture in them, I mean, they can last indefinitely. So I've already got this set to the bean setting, which is 25 minutes. I'm just going to go ahead and put my lid on, and we're going to push our button. Where's our start button? Is that it? Let me see. Yep, I think that's it. Anyway, we'll have our beans ready in 25 minutes. All right, so our beans have finished cooking, and as you can see, there's some liquid left in here, but you don't want to throw the liquid out. You can actually use this and whip it into like a meringue-like substance. It's called Aquafaba. It's great for all kinds of vegan dishes, and I actually have a video on it, so I'll post that right here. And in the meantime, I'm going to drain these. I'm going to put away my pressure cooker and get out my blender. All right, I've got my beans and my blender all ready to go. But one of the things I really love about garbanzo beans is they just don't really have a strong flavor. So depending on what you mix in with them, a lot of times they just kind of take on that flavor. So I really think that hummus ends up being kind of like a blank canvas, and it's just great to make it any flavor you want, including chocolate, which we're making today. So I'm going to go ahead and add all of my beans in. And then I have got my tahini. So here's another recipe I did. Here is regular tahini you can buy at the store. It is made from sesame seeds, so it's kind of like peanut butter, but it's a seed butter instead of a nut butter. Anyway, I made some black tahini. I made this with black sesame seeds, and you just kind of roast them. And I actually have a video that I'm going to do for this next Tuesday. I'm going to do a tip for Tuesday. I decided once I made this, I was going to share it with you guys. Look at this, though. It almost looks like something you put on your face. But it smells really nutty. It almost kind of reminds you of peanut butter. So I'm just going to put in a couple of tablespoons of this. I decided to do the black because I thought it would be great for like a dark chocolate for the color. So a couple of tablespoons of tahini. We're going to put in a couple of tablespoons of maple syrup. And you can add more or less just depending on how sweet you want it. About a half a teaspoon of vanilla. I'm going to do a pinch of salt. And then I have got my cocoa powder from Mexico that I've been holding on to here. That's probably going to make a mess as soon as I drag it out of here. And do I have a measuring spoon? We're going to do about 4 tablespoons, I think. Actually, we better start with about 3. I can't remember. 2 tablespoons, 3 tablespoons more? Or teaspoons. I don't know. We'll start with 2. We'll see how this goes. All right. And then, depending on how this blends up, we'll add a little bit of olive oil with it and possibly a little bit of water. Actually, I'm just going to go ahead and add a tiny bit of olive oil. And my tahini is just a little bit thinner than what I prefer, because I did add quite a bit of olive oil to it. So that's why I don't think I need too much of that. And then if we need to thin this out, we can always add some water. So I'm going to replace this, and we'll go ahead and hit start. Okay, so I think I'm going to go ahead and add just a couple of tablespoons of water. And another thing you're going to want to have is your tamper, so that you can go ahead and push this down as it's blending. All right, I think that's just about good. I'm going to go ahead and give this a taste. So, so good. It's chocolatey, but it's not too sweet. And not only is it so good, it's so different than, you know, the way that we normally eat hummus. So I think this is great. I'm going to go ahead and take this off of here. And I'm going to put this in a little thing to serve it in. And you know what else I like about this? Not only is it different, it's kind of, it reminds me like the recipe that I did on Monday for the carrots. If you're having a hard time getting your kids to eat their veggies, the butterscotch carrots are just a great idea. But this is good if you're having a hard time getting your kids to eat beans or enough protein in their diet. You can lie to them and tell them this is Nutella. You can tell them it's a different type of chocolate pudding. So I'm going to put this in here. And then the other thing I did earlier today was I took a little bit of dark chocolate and I used this. I'm gonna have to work on this. This is not pretty enough for a picture, but I used the 85% cacao. Is that how you say that? Cacao? Cocoa? Cacao? I don't know. Anyway, 85%. We wanted the healthy stuff, right? And I just took my little meat mallet and I just kind of broke this down into pieces. And I might get out some nuts too, but I don't know what kind. I'm thinking maybe like some macadamia nuts would be good. And then we can just put some of this chocolate right on top. So that is good. And then you can serve this with, I'm going to do pretzels with this, but this would be great to serve with fruit also. So y'all got to give this a try. And I thank y'all so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.